have already retrieved that wool, to my knowledge, so will not be a big deal. Don't see any action at the third wall dungeon for the Whiskey Brigade at all. So looks like they've just been spending their time collecting armor and resources, and of course they got the first wool, Whiskey Brigade did, but they have yet to touch their second or third wall dungeons. They've sort of stayed near the beginning of the lane. They have provided some great pressure though, keeping the CBs off of their armor. A lot of great PvP pressure to kill Gramps, who's been running resource. They're trying to gather resources for the CBs. Okay. Well, I do see MK at least has reset his spawn towards the netherrack section at the end of the map, and Nika and MK are hanging out. I'm not sure what exactly they're doing at this part of the map. They may be waiting for Whiskey Brigade in order to apply some PvP pressure on them when they do get down towards the end of the map. Or they may be trying to build a TNT cannon or something. I don't know. Not really sure. But it does look to me like they're just waiting for Whiskey Brigade in order to apply some pressure.
So many pigmen in the nether section.
Yeah, they've had a lot of time to spawn. Oh, I do hear some action on the Whiskey Brigade side. Looks like Trislander has set up a station in order to apply some PvP pressure and perhaps build a TNT cannon at the second wool dungeon. The second wool dungeon was a major point of contention in the semifinals match between CBs and Musclecraft. Took quite a while for CBs to finally grab that wool. Someone in my stream commenting that the CBs are probably going to use the zombie pigmen to lock down the third wool dungeon, and I think that is a perfectly valid assessment. I think that's a likely strategy.
They did that during the last match as well, if I recall.
Right.
They would occasionally punch them at an inopportune moment and trap a team member, or an enemy team member.
Especially given the fact that they've already retrieved the wool, they don't really care that much about accessibility to that wool dungeon. So, yeah, we'll have to see how Whiskey Brigade deals with that when it comes up. Maybe that they're focusing on the third wool in order to try and lock that down, and provide themselves enough time to grab the second and first.
So Nika is heading to the top of the volcano, possibly to interdict anyone who attempts to run it on the Whiskey Brigade side.
Still absolutely no action on the second wool dungeon for either team. Just a little bit curious.
They could be waiting for supplies.
I've seen a lot of armor for Whiskey Brigade, so I'm a little bit. I would think that they would have tried it by now. I'm not sure what exactly they're up to. They are providing some really good PvP pressure, like I've said. I think CBs have had a hard time trying to make their way down the map. Still, a lot of the map is unlit for the CBs because I think a lot of them have died with their torches, but unable to recover them.
And I think they lost a lot of supplies when their brick tower was TNT'd.
Also true. Now, I'm a little bit curious what happened to all that iron and diamond that Gramps was carrying. It looks like I see a chest that has at least 24 iron ingots, and there may be more elsewhere. I haven't really seen any iron or diamond armor for the CBs, though.
Yeah, almost all the supplies are at the very beginning.
Are you guys watching Second Wool right now?
I'm almost
Nope.
Alright. I believe it's Traz. He is using the knockback sign on the silverfish blocks to knock the silverfish to the other lane.
Yes, I see this.
And they're setting off the other ones.
Oh,
and he's
wow.
Like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but a lot of them are just falling out of the map.
But he's setting up all of
that
theirs,
is quite
too.
clever, I gotta say. For some reason, they're just not... Wow.
Wow.
I had no idea you could do that. That is hilarious. Very ingenious use of the knockback sign and the silverfish from Whiskey
Yeah.
Brigade.
It seems that every time
And-
we see Whiskey Brigade, they do something really clever, like the gas turret or the initial sign jump.
I get the feeling that by the time anyone gets down here for the CBs, a lot of these silverfish will have either despawned or just fallen off the map because there's such a huge number of them and they're kind of pushing each other off. But it is also helping the Whiskey Brigade get through that part of the silverfish, but it's very clever. I'm a little bit surprised that silverfish wait until they've already gotten to the other side in order to sort of wake up their allies.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's very interesting. Looks like Traslander may be continuing down the second wool dungeon to make his way through it.
Yeah,
Yep,
they are
he's-
pretty much prepped last time I was listening to them. It is actually kind of funny watching the silverfish fly.
Yeah. Wow. Quite
Just punch
hilarious.
that creeper off.
It's kind of a shame to see all these silverfish just knocking themselves off. But a lot of them are going to stick around, I think. Especially because Traslander is going to keep them from despawning. He's just close enough that they're going to stick around for a while, I think. But CBs have come nowhere near this dungeon, so maybe a while.
My Minecraft just
Yeah,
crashed.
they were talking about it a minute ago, and seeing if they were ready for it. I know they're trying to lock down third wool at this point, which is what we've seen them do in the past. So that will be a hassle for Whiskey Brigade, I think, in the future. But for now, it seems like they're just going to try to keep working on other woos.
Whiskey Brigade is actually at the top of the volcano right now.
Nice.
Let's see, who is this? This is Jakash wearing iron armor, full iron armor. Now, making his way down, he is going to take a lot of fall damage, and he also may take... Well, he may not take fall damage. He may be able to make his way through. They have updated the... I think intentionally they have updated the lava. The teams are given fire protection potions in some chests, and so they can make their way through this lava, and some teams have been planning on doing that. But we also have seen Musclecraft try to do that, and they just eventually lost all their fire protection potions, just had no way to grab that wool. So we'll have to see
That's
how this
pretty
turns
risky.
out. Yeah, I agree that it's pretty risky. But in the face of PvP action, it may just not be possible to make your way down without employing this strategy. So
It's like Trez finally ran into some PvP resistance as Gramps and Solitary Wolf are right above the entrance to the second wool dungeon.
The silverfish actually seem to have spread out a little bit.
Yeah.
They're patrolling back and forth.
Silverfish climbing up water. Oh, it's drowning though.
unfortunately, because of all the lava, I can't really see what's going on inside, and I can't really tell how Jakash is doing in terms of making progress. I don't think I'll be able to catch a glimpse of him. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, we'll head over to the second wall dungeon and check out the action there. It seems to be sort of the focal point right now.
Yeah, Traz
Alright,
is just
Grant.
about to get down to the second to last turn.
Gramps is also sort of making his way down. I think he's just spotted all the silverfish and is probably a little bit confused about them, but he is making his way down. Oh, very risky. He has just jumped down into the silverfish. He could have easily fallen off there with all the mobs pushing him around. Trying to build a little bit of a barrier for himself, but he may get pushed.
Oh.
Yep. Just as I was saying it, he got pushed off the edge of the walkway there, and and he died. Now these cobblestone blocks will actually act as sponges for the silverfish, interestingly, I believe. Alright. Actually don't see Traslander anymore.
I'm right behind him. He is sort of behind the lava curtain. He placed a sign down. Oh, he
Okay.
accidentally placed the knockback sign down. But de-enchants it.
He may not need it anymore anyway, but that yeah, that may have been it probably was unintentional on his part.
Usually you see like the sign placed and then it says like EW and stuff like that on it.
Yeah. Yeah, Traslander now trying to make his way across this portion of the map is very difficult. There are a lot of mobs that will spawn, and it can be quite hard to block them off.
Yeah, last time we
Traslander
saw
now
I think it was,
poisoned from the cave spiders.
we saw Musclecraft use a fairly interesting strategy of dropping TNT and having it destroy the spawners with a sort of a cannon that pushed it in and then pushed it over.
Right, yeah, that was very clever. Now, there's a full set of iron armor on the ground for the CBs in the second world dungeon. A lot of the time when that happens, we will see the person who lost the supplies just trying to sprint back, just make their way back through, like ignoring all the mobs and everything, trying to get those supplies. And a lot of the times we'll see that fail. So we'll see if CB falls into that trap or not. But I think that iron armor is probably a lost cause for now, and the CBs will have to re-equip other armor if they want to attempt that dungeon again.
Looking at the kill scroll, Gramps was shot by Segoy, indicating that Segoy may be back at spawn trying to stop anybody from coming back.
The marshy area. So now teams have set their spawn a bit, so yeah, it's hard to. I'm not sure where all the spawns are set right now. I like that the CBs have. Sorry, this is Whiskey Brigade. I like that Whiskey Brigade has created a cobblestone pathway across the water at the beginning. Trying to swim through or use the boats can be very slow, and I definitely like this sort of increased pathfinding ability. Actually, taking a look at my chat logs, thanks to one of the viewers in the stream for pointing this out, Jakash was shot while he was attempting the third world dungeon. So